How to grow your social media following and email list. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I want you to remember this quote. It is not the person who is the best that will have the best business. It's the person who is the best known. This is why visibility is so key, and it's so important that you become the best known in your industry through getting out there, growing your social media following, and super importantly, growing your flipping email list. Your email list is going to be one of the biggest and best assets that you have in your business, because this is something that you own, unlike a social media following, and this is where you can directly communicate with your audience. But how can we do it? Well, I'm going to share with you 6 things that you can do right now to begin building that email list, growing that social media following, and becoming the best known in your industry. Let's get to it. Step number 1 is to create a highly desirable lead magnet. Now, some of you will already know about lead magnets, but notice I said highly desirable. This is the main thing I want you to focus on. So if you don't already know, a lead magnet is basically where you give something away for free to a potential client in exchange for their contact details so that you can re-engage with them. Over time, you can nurture that relationship, and hopefully a percent of them will start to work with you and buy from you. Lead magnets can be anything like a free guide, ebook, short video series, just something that gives away something that would help your ideal client for free in exchange for them being in your world. Now, most people know about that bit, but the bit that they don't really double down on is creating something that is highly desirable. When I teach people to create lead magnets, one of the things that I often say is make it something that people will be like, oh my God, I really need this. I must have this. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it's free. As if you're not charging me for this. Like, if you can think about your lead magnet in that way, this is where you're going to maximize signups to your email list. Most people just think, oh, it's just a freebie, so I'll just throw anything together and just say, oh, it's free, so you're not paying me. Tough shit. That's not how this works. You really want to think about who is your ideal client, what do they really need, what is something that they would love to have, give that to them for free. People are going to straight away trust you a little bit more than most people in this industry, because most people are just giving away rubbish freebies. And then when they do sign up to that lead magnet, the trick is you need to create what is known as an email nurture sequence. In other words, a range of different emails that go out on automation that are not just selling to them or boasting about how incredible you are, but genuinely build a relationship with that person. So I try and do things in my email nurture sequences where I actually ask for their opinion, their feedback. I proactively encourage them to reply to the email, and I make sure that when people do, that I then respond to that reply as well. This is something, again, I don't see a lot of people doing well. They just have generic email nurture sequences that are very clearly sent out en masse. They don't feel personal, they don't feel specific to that individual, and as a result, they just end up going into people's spam and getting ignored, and it just becomes another freebie that they've signed up to that they just don't do anything with. So step 1 is about really understanding your ideal client, creating a lead magnet that has high desire, and then with that, having a great email nurture sequence. Once you've got that in place, step 2 is hosting some kind of free live event. This could be a live webinar, masterclass, a free challenge over a period of days. It could be a free workshop, but just something that you can invite people along to really get a sense for you, your business, what you do, how you do it, and basically give them a bit of a try before you buy kind of experience. Now, again, this can be used in its own right as a lead magnet, but more importantly, this can be a fantastic way to nurture people that have already come in on that initial lead magnet. We've really got to think about people these days, I think more than ever, arguably, are even more skeptical and cynical of maybe being burnt by people who just deliver surface level rubbish. And now they want results. Now they want to work with people they can really trust and feel that they believe has their best interests at heart. And there's no better way than doing that than giving them multiple ways to actually work with you for free before you actually start saying, look, here's my paid product. So lead with value. I know this has been said since the beginning of time pretty much, but really lead with value. Don't just pretend to lead with value. I'm just sick and tired of all these free masterclasses where it's just surface level. The first 20 minutes of the masterclass is spent with the person just boasting about who they are, what they've achieved, how amazing they are, and then they give a tiny little bit of value in which they just keep going, it's like my client who achieved this and this client who achieved that. And it's really just a massive sales pitch disguised as value. My advice is don't do that. Genuinely put on some kind of free event that whether people then decide to work with you or not, actually think that was brilliant and I'm a massive advocate for you, what you do. Maybe it's just not the right time to work with you or whatever, but they've had a fantastic experience. This again is not just going to mean that those people stay potentially proactively engaged in your world, but they're more likely to have good things to say to other people and then create that word of mouth ripple effect, which gets them more people wanting to join your email list, follow you on social media, and come into your world. Step number 3 is to collaborate and borrow trust. Now, this is something that I don't hear many people speak about quite in this way. One of the fastest ways that you can build your email list and your social media following is by doing what I say, borrow trust. In other words, find other people in your exact industry right now that are a few steps ahead of you. They're already really well known, liked, and trusted. They're already really successful in this industry and they already have built that solid audience of people who are your ideal client. If you can reach out and connect with them, if you can start to build a relationship with that person so that they get to know, like, and trust you and vice versa, and they actually genuinely want to help you and work with you, this puts you in a great position where either you could collaborate and work together, or you could ask them, invite them to be an affiliate for you where they proactively promote what you're doing in exchange for a commission, or you pay them to give you a shout out. This is the reality of how you're going to get way more known way quicker than if you're just trying to do everything organically on your own. And it's something that I don't hear many people speaking about, but actually when you do, as I have with my podcast, I've interviewed over 250 people now on the subject of success. And when you sit down and you speak to these people who have been successful in business, quite often along the way, the collaborations, the partnerships, the affiliations, those are the things that have really helped them get ahead much quicker. So instead of just trying to do everything the hard way, identify the people in your industry who already have your audience and find ways that you can work together. And obviously what you need to think about with this is ways that there's mutual gain. You don't just want to take from them an audience that they've built. So that is something that needs a little bit of thought, but find ways you can get on their radar, build relationships with them, and then get them to help promote what you do to their audience and bring them again over onto your mailing list, social media following, and so on. Step number 4 is make sure your lead magnet is everywhere. So it needs to be in your bio, on your social media. It wants to regularly be mentioned on your stories and maybe on your call to actions in your posts. You want to proactively show up in maybe groups, communities, Facebook groups where you're encouraged and able to share what you're doing and post it in there. In your comment section, in response to other people's questions in these groups, just keep on making people aware that, hey, I've got this great lead magnet, it's totally free. Feel free to sign up, download it, and I really hope it helps. So just make sure you're proactive in letting people know it exists. Again, if you're gonna collaborate with other people, if you're gonna get people, as I say, when you borrow trust, if they're gonna promote you to their audience, when people come over to your social media and they see your content, you need to guide them on where to go next. So make sure you make your freebie unmissable, stick it everywhere, and make it clear and make it hard for people to miss. Step 5 is about doing personal outreach. Now, I've actually already done a full video on this same YouTube channel where I go into depth about my strategy for personal outreach, and it's not the usual what you might have heard other people speak about. I do think the standard, more traditional way that personal outreach has been taught is quite spammy and annoying and doesn't get the best result. But the way that I teach it is basically just about finding people online to connect with, to have genuine conversations with and build relationships with, so that over time, some of those people might want to work with you. It's not about going straight in with a DM that immediately tries to sell to them or immediately tries to tell them about your freebie. It's just about finding ways to be a bit more organic and authentic than that, so you're not just selling at them. So again, just go back through this YouTube channel if you want a full video in depth giving you my exact strategy on doing that. But irrespective of whether you follow my strategy or not, personal outreach is still a great way to be able to build that following, and it's something I would recommend you do as just a bit of a daily habit every single day, 7 days a week. And if you can get into that habit, that is really gonna change things for you. But I think the key to it is not just finding anybody and everybody, it's specifically proactively looking for people who fit that ideal client avatar for you, your business, and your services. And step number 6 is considered, I think, by some people as a controversial step, but for me, it shouldn't be, and that is pay to play. Now, one of the great things about starting a business in 2025 is there's never been a lower barrier to entry. You can start an online business thanks to all the many apps and social media and artificial intelligence that is available to us pretty much for free. And I think that's an amazing thing. I'm so pleased that being an entrepreneur is way more accessible to people than it's ever been in the history of time. But there's a bit of a downside to this that I'm observing, and that is we're breeding this generation of, dare I say it, quite entitled, lazy entrepreneurs where they've never had to really invest in their business. If you go back just 20, 30 years ago, if somebody was going to start their own business, they would be expecting, even back then, to be investing tens of thousands of pounds into marketing, whether that be radio advertising, TV advertising, newspaper, magazines, whether that be banners and posters. And they'd also be expecting to invest thousands of pounds into maybe having premises and staff and things like that. And whereas you don't need to do any of that today to be able to build a successful business, I still believe having a budget for marketing is a sensible and smart thing to do. But most people are like, oh my God, I got into business to make money, not spend money. It's totally the wrong attitude. So for me, paying to play is just a standard thing that you should be investing in your business. And what I mean by this is things like sponsoring a podcast or sponsoring some kind of business event that is aligned with your business, that maybe has your target audience that go to that event or listen to that podcast. Pay to get in front of them. If somebody else has already built the audience of people that you want, they've spent their money, their time, their energy, their effort over years, maybe even decades in building a good, strong, engaged audience. You can save a lot of that time by just paying them to get in front of that audience. So paying to sponsor an event, paying to sponsor a podcast, maybe paying to speak at an event. There is opportunities where there's some really great events with some high caliber speakers, and you might not be at that point where you're going to be paid to be on that stage, but you could inquire if there's opportunities for you to pay for a position where you can speak on that stage. You can take up a slot speaking in front of hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, that your ideal client, where you can give value, give them a knockout talk, and then at the end, again, give away that freebie to get them onto your email list, get them following you on social media, and then continue to nurture that relationship into sales over time. Also, you could consider paying people that have a really good engaged email list to send an email on your behalf. So if they write that email in a way that they speak to their audience on a regular basis, and they just basically make them aware of who you are, what you're doing, and what freebie you have on offer that week, this could be a really great way to overnight get hundreds, if not thousands of people joined up to your email list. I recently invested £3,000 into getting a brand to send one email to their email list, which I knew they had over 20,000 people on there who are my engaged audience. I knew they had an open rate of around 30 to 40% open rate. And from that one email that got sent, we had over 400 people join my email list, which when you compare that to things like Facebook ads, it's a pretty decent return on a £3,000 ad spend. So there you go. They are just some steps that you can follow to help you grow that email list, grow your social media following, and most importantly, nurture relationships with the right people so that over time, people want to work with you, people want to buy from you. And if you want me to go way deeper on this and give you even more value and really help you step by step, I'm very excited to announce that we are running our 3-day Grow Your Audience Challenge for free. There's no big pitch, there's no big sale. We're just going to be relaunching my membership, which is basically next to nothing to join anyway. It's only 35 quid a month, and the value we give you in the membership far outweighs the investment, let me tell you now. So we'll just be mentioning that, but aside from whether you want to join the membership or not, every day over these 3 days, I'm going to give you specific action steps that you can follow to help you every single day be doing things that will grow your audience. So if you want to join us for that completely free challenge, just click the link below this YouTube video. It's literally there right now. Head on over there, click the link, and I will see you on that challenge. The challenge runs from Monday the 15th to Wednesday the 17th of September, but the challenge actually launches the day before day one, so that's on Sunday the 14th of September, and you do need to show up on that Sunday because that's when I'm going to give you the information of what you need to do on day one of the challenge starting that Monday. So make sure you click the link, sign up, get ready to join us, and I'll see you there ready to get things rocking and rolling on Sunday, the 14th of September, to help you grow your email list and your audience. I really hope you found this YouTube video useful. I'll see you next week for the next one, and I hope you'll sign up, and I'll see you live on that challenge starting in a couple of weeks.